This electric sedan feels like it was pulled straight out of a futuristic movie set. Everything about it challenges what you expect a modern car to be. The seats don't just support you, they massage you. The dashboard stretches across the cabin like a massive digital display, wider than most living room televisions. There's no traditional rear window, which already tells you this isn't trying to follow old rules. And when it comes to performance, it accelerates to 60 miles per hour quicker than many well-known sports cars. But here's the part that surprises most people. It wasn't built in Germany, Japan, or the United States. This machine comes from China. It's called the AVATR 12, and it's making its way into markets like Canada. By the time you fully understand what this car represents, it becomes clear why the global premium automotive industry is starting to pay very close attention. Because this isn't just another electric vehicle entering the market. It's part of a much bigger shift that has been quietly building for years. For a long time, especially throughout the early 2000s, Chinese cars had a very predictable reputation. They were seen as affordable, practical, and built to get the job done. Nothing more, nothing less. They weren't designed to impress or lead the industry. If someone wanted true luxury, cutting-edge engineering, or a sense of prestige, they would automatically look toward brands from Germany, Japan, or sometimes America. That was the established hierarchy, and most people believed it wouldn't change anytime soon. But the automotive world, like any major industry, doesn't stay fixed forever. It evolves, sometimes slowly, almost unnoticed, and sometimes all at once. What's been happening in China's electric vehicle sector over the past few years is far from a gradual shift. It's been building pressure beneath the surface, years of investment, innovation, and experimentation. And now, that pressure is releasing in a powerful way. New companies are emerging, fresh design philosophies are taking shape, and entirely new ideas about what a car should feel like are being explored. The AVATR 12 stands right at the center of this transformation. It represents a new direction, not just for Chinese automakers, but for the global market as a whole. What makes it even more interesting is how it came to life. This isn't the product of a single company working in isolation. It's the result of a strategic collaboration between three major players. Chang'an, one of China's most established automotive manufacturers, brings decades of production experience. CATL, a global leader in battery technology, provides the advanced energy systems that power the vehicle. And then there's Huawei, a name recognized worldwide for innovation in consumer electronics and smart technology. When these three forces came together, they weren't aiming to compete at the entry level or even the mid-range. They set their sights much higher. Their goal was to create something that could stand alongside and potentially challenge the very best premium vehicles on the market. And that's exactly what makes the AVATR 12 so important. It's not just another car, it's a signal. A clear indication that the balance of power in the automotive world is beginning to shift, and that the future of luxury, performance, and technology might look very different from what people have been used to for decades. What they ended up creating is a car that doesn't just match its ambition, it fully lives up to it. The real question here isn't whether the AVATR 12 is impressive. That part is obvious the moment you see it. The deeper question is what this car signals about the future of the entire automotive industry. But before diving into that bigger picture, it's worth taking a closer look at what the AVATR 12 actually is, starting with the one thing that immediately grabs attention, its design. In the world of cars, design is something you either feel instantly or you don't. No amount of specs or engineering talk can replace that first visual impact. And the AVATR 12 delivers that impact in a big way. This is not a car that blends into traffic or plays it safe. It demands attention without even trying. The proportions alone tell you this is a serious machine. Measuring around 5,020 millimeters in length with a wheelbase of approximately 3,020 millimeters, it sits firmly in the full-size luxury sedan category. To put that into perspective, it's longer than a typical BMW 5 Series and lines up closely with something like a Mercedes-Benz EQE. These are not small cars, and the AVATR 12 belongs right in that space. But what makes it stand out is how differently it carries that size. Instead of the traditional upright and formal look that most luxury sedans go for, the AVATR 12 adopts a much more aggressive and modern stance. It sits low to the ground, wide across the body, and features a fastback roofline that flows seamlessly from front to rear in one continuous curve. There are no awkward breaks or forced angles. The entire silhouette feels fluid, almost like it was shaped by airflow itself. Even when the car is completely still, it gives off the impression that it's in motion. The front design takes things even further by rejecting one of the most recognizable features of a traditional car, the grille. Instead of a large, attention-grabbing front opening, the AVATR 12 goes for a clean, sculpted surface. The focus shifts to the ultra-slim LED headlights, which stretch sharply across the front like precision-cut lines of light. During the day, they give the car an aggressive, futuristic expression. At night, they transform completely, creating a striking visual signature that makes the car instantly recognizable in traffic. Seeing it approach in your rearview mirror would probably make you look twice, just to process what you're actually seeing. But it's the rear design where the AVATR 12 truly breaks convention. Instead of following the standard approach of using a rear windshield, this car removes it entirely. In its place is a camera-based system that provides rear visibility through interior displays. There is no glass at the back, which allows the designers to create a completely smooth and uninterrupted rear profile. The result is something that feels more like a piece of modern architecture than a traditional car design. That smooth, continuous surface gives the car a unique identity, clean, minimal, and futuristic in a way that very few production vehicles have managed to achieve. It's not just about looking different for the sake of it. Every design choice here feels intentional, as if the goal was to rethink what a luxury sedan should look like from the ground up. The AVATR 12 doesn't rely on flashy gimmicks or exaggerated styling to stand out. Instead, it uses proportion, simplicity, and bold design decisions to create something that feels genuinely new. And in a market where many cars start to look the same, that alone makes it worth paying attention to. At first, the idea might sound like a gimmick, something designed more to grab attention than to actually improve the experience. But the moment you see it in person, that perception changes completely. It no longer feels experimental. It feels inevitable, like this was always the direction things were meant to go, and the rest of the industry just hasn't caught up yet. That impression only gets stronger when you take in the full exterior. Frameless doors, strong rear haunches, and oversized wheels all come together to create a presence that feels confident and forward-thinking. This isn't a car that looks like it's trying to challenge European luxury sedans. It looks like it has already stepped beyond them and is now operating on a different level, waiting for others to follow. That sense of being ahead of its time doesn't stop at the exterior. It becomes even more apparent the moment you open the door and step inside. The interior doesn't just feel modern. It feels like a preview of what cars are going to become over the next decade. There's a certain feeling you get when you enter a space that has been designed with genuine passion and intention. It's hard to describe, but it's instantly recognizable. Nothing feels random. Nothing feels like it was included just because it's always been there. Every element has a purpose, and every detail feels considered. The AVATR 12 delivers that experience the second you sit down. The dashboard is dominated by a massive, continuous digital display that stretches almost the entire width of the cabin, measuring close to 35 inches from end to end. Instead of breaking information into separate screens, everything is presented in one seamless interface. Navigation, speed, media, and vehicle data all flow together in a way that feels natural and easy to follow. Compared to many traditional luxury interiors, which can sometimes feel cluttered or segmented, this setup feels clean, unified, and thoughtfully designed around how people actually interact with information while driving. Positioned below that is a large central touchscreen powered by Huawei's operating system. If you've ever used one of their high-end smartphones, you'll immediately recognize the smoothness and responsiveness. That same fluid experience has been scaled up and integrated directly into the car. Adjusting climate settings, switching driving modes, controlling media, or navigating through menus all feels fast and intuitive, without the lag or frustration that often comes with in-car systems. Voice control is another area where the car stands out. Instead of feeling like a novelty that only works part of the time, it responds accurately and naturally, making it a genuinely useful part of the driving experience. And because the system supports over-the-air updates, the software doesn't remain static. It evolves over time, improving functionality and adding features long after the car leaves the factory, much like modern consumer technology. Comfort has clearly been given just as much attention as technology. The seats are finished in high-quality leather and come equipped with heating, ventilation, and massage functions across multiple seating positions. This isn't just about luxury for the driver. It extends to every passenger in the car. The long 3,020mm wheelbase plays a key role in enhancing that experience, especially for those sitting in the rear. It creates a level of space that allows passengers to stretch out and relax in a way that feels more like a high-end lounge than a traditional car interior. The result is an environment that blends advanced technology with genuine comfort, delivering an experience that feels both futuristic and deeply refined at the same time. What truly elevates the rear seat experience is the amount of space available. Rear passengers get the kind of legroom that transforms long journeys from something you simply tolerate into something you can genuinely enjoy. Instead of constantly shifting to stay comfortable, you can stretch out, relax, and settle into the ride. The panoramic glass roof adds another layer to that experience, flooding the cabin with natural light and making the entire interior feel even more open and expansive than it already is. Sitting in the back of the AVATR 12, it becomes difficult not to question exactly what segment this car belongs to. On paper, it competes with executive sedans like the Mercedes E-Class. But in terms of space, comfort, and overall presence, it starts to feel like it's aiming higher, closer to flagship territory. It quietly blurs the line between categories, making you wonder if it's actually targeting something like the S-Class without explicitly saying so. As impressive as the comfort and technology are, they're not the part of this car that truly shifts the conversation. That moment comes when you start looking at what it can actually do on the road. Because this is where things stop being impressive and start becoming surprising. Performance in a luxury sedan only makes sense when you understand both the raw numbers and what those numbers mean in context. And in the case of the AVATR 12, the context is everything. The dual-motor all-wheel drive setup produces around 578 horsepower, paired with approximately 650 Nm of torque. Those are serious figures by any standard. But it's the acceleration that really stands out. The car can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3.9 seconds. That number deserves a second look. Under 4 seconds, in a full-size luxury sedan equipped with massage seats, a massive digital dashboard, and all the comforts you would expect from a premium vehicle. That's not typical sedan performance. That's the kind of speed you associate with dedicated sports cars. The difference here is that it delivers that performance while still maintaining the refinement and practicality of a daily driver. Power is only part of the equation. The battery system plays an equally important role. The AVATR 12 uses a 94.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack, supported by an advanced 800-volt electrical architecture. This setup allows for significantly faster charging compared to traditional systems. In practical terms, it means you can add a substantial amount of driving range in the time it takes to stop for a proper break. It's not just a specification on paper, it's a feature that makes the car genuinely usable over long distances. On a full charge, the total range can reach up to around 700 kilometers under standard testing conditions. Translated into real-world driving, that's enough to cover major city-to-city distances with confidence, without constantly worrying about the next charging station. It removes a lot of the anxiety that still surrounds electric vehicles for many people. Beyond straight-line performance and range, the AVATR 12 also stands out for its advanced driver assistance technology. The system is built around a combination of cameras, radar sensors, and multiple LiDAR units, all working together through Huawei's intelligent driving platform. LiDAR technology uses laser pulses to scan the environment and create a detailed, real-time map of everything around the vehicle. With 4 separate LiDAR units integrated into the system, the car gains an exceptionally high level of awareness. It can monitor its surroundings with precision, significantly reducing blind spots and improving overall safety. The result is a driving experience that doesn't just rely on raw power or luxury features, but also on intelligent systems designed to make every journey smoother, safer, and more controlled. The system integrates a suite of advanced highway driving assistance features, including automatic lane changes and intelligent parking capabilities. Everything works together with a level of smoothness and precision that makes the experience feel less like a driver aid and more like a highly skilled co-pilot sitting beside you. It is constantly aware, constantly calculating, and constantly supporting your decisions on the road. With nearly 600 horsepower available the moment you press the accelerator, the presence of this intelligence becomes even more meaningful. At this level of performance, you do not just want assistance, you want confidence. You want a system that understands speed, power, and responsibility in real time. And that is exactly what this delivers. It is not an optional layer of convenience. It is an essential part of the driving experience. Then comes the part that truly changes the perspective, the price. This is where the story stops being just impressive and starts becoming disruptive. Now imagine if a European or American manufacturer tried to build the same vehicle. The design quality alone would require a world-class studio. The software stack would demand billions in development investment, likely at the level of companies like Huawei or leading Silicon Valley tech giants. Then add a quad LiDAR sensor system, an advanced 800-volt electrical architecture, a premium interior crafted with high-end materials, and acceleration that can drop below 4 seconds from 0 to 60. Under those conditions, you would not be surprised to see a price tag well beyond $80,000 to $100,000, possibly even higher for fully loaded configurations. That would be the expected range in traditional luxury markets where branding, legacy, and development overhead all stack into the final cost. But the AVATR 12 does something different. In its domestic market, the starting price sits at roughly the equivalent of $37,000. Even the top-tier fully equipped version comes in around $59,000. And that includes everything: the quad LiDAR system, advanced driver assistance powered by Huawei's technology ecosystem, premium comfort features like massage seats, and performance levels that can rival or even surpass dedicated sports sedans. What makes this even more striking is not just the specification list, but what it represents at that price point. Of course, pricing changes when a vehicle enters international markets like Canada or the United States. Import tariffs, regulatory compliance costs, shipping, dealership networks, and after-sales service infrastructure all add layers of expense. By the time a car like this reaches North American buyers, the final sticker price would inevitably be higher than its domestic Chinese cost. But even with those adjustments, the core argument does not change. What matters here is the underlying shift in what is possible when a manufacturer builds without the traditional constraints of legacy automotive systems. The AVATR 12 demonstrates what happens when design ambition, software integration, and electric platform engineering are all aligned toward a single goal: delivering maximum value and capability in a competitive package. This fundamentally resets expectations. It forces a rethink of what a car at any given price point should actually offer in terms of technology, performance, and refinement. And that is where established luxury brands begin to feel real pressure. The AVATR 12 is not just another electric sedan. It is a signal, a direction, a preview of how quickly the industry landscape is changing. A few years ago, it would have sounded exaggerated to place a Chinese luxury EV in the same conversation as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Tesla at the high end of the market. That conversation would have been dismissed as premature or overly optimistic. Today, that confidence is no longer theoretical. You can examine the AVATR 12 specification by specification and find it matching or surpassing competitors across multiple categories. Whether it is computing power, assisted driving capabilities, interior technology, or raw performance. The shift toward electric vehicles has always represented more than just a change in propulsion. It is a full reset of automotive engineering priorities. When the core architecture of a vehicle is redefined, the advantages accumulated over decades of internal combustion development do not automatically carry over. That opens the door for new manufacturers to enter the field without legacy limitations, without outdated platforms, and without having to justify previous design decisions. The AVATR 12 is a direct result of that freedom. But perhaps the most important part of this story is that it is not isolated. This is not a single standout product. It is part of a much larger wave of innovation emerging across the EV industry, particularly in China, where multiple manufacturers are now pushing aggressively into the premium segment with serious engineering depth. This is no longer about catching up. It is about competing at the highest level, and in some cases, redefining it. The result is a rapidly evolving competitive landscape where premium electric vehicles are no longer predictable, and where established brands can no longer rely purely on reputation or heritage to maintain their position. We are entering a phase where value, technology, and execution matter more than badge history. And watching that transition unfold in real time is what makes this moment in the automotive world so compelling. If this breakdown was useful, consider subscribing and staying tuned for more deep dives like this. And here is a question worth thinking about. If the AVATR 12 officially launched in Canada or the United States at a competitive price, Would you seriously consider it over a Tesla Model S, a BMW i5, or a Mercedes EQE? The answer to that question says a lot about where the future of luxury electric cars is headed.